Hi, jina Ryan Portelli, il-Counselor ta' Giovanni Kurmi Higher Secondary School Naxxar. Pratikament, għanamlu dal-video klip qasir biex nispjegaw ftit x'inhu s-servizz li noffru aħna bħala Counselling Office fl-iskola, kif ukoll liema raġunijiet tistgħu u kif tistgħu tagħmlu kuntatt magħna jekk tiġu bżonn is-servizzi tagħna. Għanet sajf nispjegaw x'inhu counselling, ħafna minnkom counselling huwa xi ħaġa familjari, huwa xi ħaġa li kellkom fl-iskola intom għaddejjin mis-sistema intom kbirtu fis-snin differenti fl-iskejl differenti fejn kontu. Pratikament il-counselling huwa din ir-relazzjoni bejn counselor ma' persuna fil-kassana huwa student fl-iskola li tkun mibnija ħafna fuq din it-trust ma' xulxin biex kemm jista' jkun il-counselor jgħin lill-persuna l-oħra f'dik il-mixja biex jasal għal mod aħjar kif jifhem is-sitwazzjoni tiegħu jew kif itejjeb is-sitwazzjoni tiegħu jew kif jikber anke fuq livell personali dak il-persuna. Issa hemm tliet prinċipji li aħna nozzu ħafna bħala dipartiment, bħala uffiċċju fl-iskola, l-ewwel waħda hija dik tal-konfidenzjalità. Dan ifisser li prattikament kull ma jintqal bejn il-counselor u l-istudent ser jibqa' konfidenzjali, ser jibqa' bejniethom. Sakemm ma jintmissux biex ngħidu żewġ regoli żgħar hemm żewġ provisos. L-ewwel waħda hija dik illi il-persuna b'dak li qed tgħid mhux se tagħmel ħsara lilha nfisha jew it-tieni waħda mhux se tagħmel ħsara lil persuni oħra madwarha. Allura nistgħu ngħidu l-kontenut kollu dak li jintqal jibqa' bejn il-counselor u l-student sakemm ma tinkisirx waħda minn dawn iż-żewġ provisos. Ġifieri sakemm il-persuna mhux se tagħmel ħsara lilha nfisha b'ebda mod jew ħsara lil persuni madwarha. It-tieni prinċipju li nemmnu ħafna fih huwa dak ta' li nkunu non-judgmental, li ma niġġudikawx. L-uffiċċju tagħna ser jilqa' bidejh miftuħa lil kull student irrelevanti mill-liema mixja fil-ħajja ġej, mill-liema sitwazzjoni ġej. Mhux ir-rwol tagħna li niġġudikaw, mhux ir-rwol tagħna li naraw x'inhu tajjeb u x'inhu ħażin, ir-rwol tagħna huwa li nissapportjawkom ittejbu s-sitwazzjoni tagħkom, nissapportjawkom tikbru ftit ieħor, nissapportjawkom tilħqu iktar livell ta' maturità anke għalikom infuskom f'ċertu aspetti li forsi jkollkom diffikultà. It-tielet punt huwa dak li noħolqu dak li nsejħulu safe space. Spazju li huwa safe għal kulħadd. Kull min ser jiġi juża l-uffiċċju tagħna. Jekk hux għax għandu bżonn b'emerġenza forsi ftit ħin waħdu, forsi rċieva xi news mhux daqshekk tajjeb għandu bżonn min jissapportjah malajr, forsi qed tieħtaq xi ansjetà għandu bżonn spazju għal kwiet. Jew anke jekk forsi mhux tħossu safe għal xi raġuni fl-iskola xi nqarat xi ħaġa u jixtieq jiġi jitkellem magħna biex jara jista' xi tajjeb is-sitwazzjoni, dak huwa l-iskop li nixtiequ nużaw l-uffiċċju tagħna għalih. Ġieli jkun safe space għal kull persuna relevanti s-sitwazzjoni tagħha biex aħna nissapportjaw il-persuna tikber ftit ieħor. Vedu li ma dan kollu mal-iskola x'għandu x'jaqsam. Fil-verità nafu li l-ewwel ħaġa ħadd tiġi meta intom tibdew il-post-secondary huwa dik it-tranzizzjoni mill-Form 5 mill-iskola fejn kont taf fejn kont ilek 5 snin fejn bnejt idea tajba ta' min huma n-nies għal skola ġdida. U minkejja taf tkun eċitat u taf tkun kuntent li ħadibda skola ġdida, ħadibda post-secondary, forsi kienet xi ħaġa li ilek toħlom li tagħmel, fil-verità nafu li kull bidla fil-ħajja iġġib ammont ta' stress, iġġib ammont ta' ansjetà, u allura jista' jkun li hemmhekk aħna fejn l-ewwel post fejn nistgħu nibdew nissapportjaw. Sakemm intom jiġifieri tadattaw għar-realtà l-ġdida biex imbagħad jirnexxielkom tkomplu kemm fit-tagħlim akademiku tagħkom, però anke wkoll fl-iżvilupp personali tagħkom. Però din mhux l-unika raġuni. Aħna nafu li kif ġara qabel tibdew il-post-secondary kif jiġri anke wara probabbilment persuna jista' jiltaq ma' issues fir-relazzjonijiet tiegħu. Issa jekk hux relazzjoni romantika ma' boyfriend jew girlfriend, jekk hux relazzjoni ta' ħbiberija ma' xi ħbieb, jekk hux relazzjoni ma' membri fil-familja. Per dawn ir-relazzjonijiet kultant jikkomplikaw ruħhom, kultant joħolqulna problemi li ma nkunux pjanajnihom jew ma nkunux preparati għalihom. Għaldaqstant, dan huwa wkoll servizz li jista' jissapportja f'dak it-tip ta' sitwazzjoni. Ħaġa li ftit nies isemmu u forsi jekk nkunu aware tagħha huwa li anke l-età ta' bejn 16 u 20 sena hija ta' sensittiva ħafna s-saħħa mentali taż-żgħażagħ. U allura jista' jkun li persuna tkun qed tħoss xi emozzjonijiet jew xi tip ta' feelings li qed ikunu daqsxejn qawwija u forsi qawwija ħafna F'dik is-sitwazzjonijiet m'għandekx għalfejn tiddilja magħhom, m'għandekx għalfejn tieħu ħsiebhom waħdek. Għalhekk jeżisti servizz bħal dan biex inti jkollok anke f'sitwazzjoni bħal dik is-support ġenerali li għandek bżonn. Nissapportjaw ħafna wkoll żgħażagħ li jkunu għaddejjin minn żmien fejn qegħdin jevalwaw jaħsbu dwar il-ġeneru tagħhom, il-gender tagħhom jew inkella s-sesswalità jew l-orjentazzjoni sesswali tagħhom. Huwa topic li joħloq diffikultajiet, kultant diffikultajiet fuq kif ħankellem inta d-dar, il-ħbib tiegħi, bliema mod, jekk hux vera, għandi bżonn niddiskutiha ftit. U dan huwa spazju wkoll aħna nużaw fis-sessions tagħna biex ngħinu l dawn il-persuni. Xi aktar kmieni semmejt anke relazzjonijiet, kultant ir-relazzjonijiet jistgħu jkunu wkoll xi ftit abużivi jew anke violenti f'ċertu sitwazzjonijiet u dak huwa għedi oħra ngħinukom. U prattikament nistgħu niġbru kollox li aħna l-iskop tagħna huwa li nissapportjaw lilkom f'kull esperjenza li tkun intgħaddu minnha waqt li qegħdin fl-iskola tagħna, waqt li qegħdin dawk is-sentejn fl-iskola tagħna li b'xi mod ta' toħloq feeling ta' overwhelming, ġifieri xi ħaġa li bilkemm nista' nimmaniġġja waħdi. U allura għalhekk ħankunu hemmhekk biex nissapportjaw dan is-servizz. Nemmnu wkoll f'xi ħaġa oħra li hija vera importanti, li ngħidulha l-Parent School Alliance, ġifieri aħna nistiednu l-ġenituri, forsi l-ġenituri din jaraw anke dan il-klib, nistiednu l-ġenituri li jkunu f'kuntatt magħna, jekk hemm xi ħaġa tinkwetahom fuq tfal, jkunu f'kuntatt magħna, mhix problema, niddiskutuha flimkien. Però niddiskutuha dejjem bit-trasparenza. Xi ħaġa li aħna nirreżistu ħafna huwa li jkollna parents li jgħidulna isma' kellmu lit-tifel ma tgħidulux il-champions. Ir-raġuni li nagħmluha hija hemm element ta' deceit fiha ta' qisu qegħdin nidħu biż-żagħżugħ. U dik ma tgħinx biex nibnu relazzjoni ta' fiduċja bejnietna biex nkunu realment nistgħu ngħinu. Allura kemm jista' jkun aħna nkunu trasparenti, nkunu kemm jista' jkun ċari u onesti kemm magħkom bħala ġenituri u kemm mal-istudenti biex intukom l-aħjar servizz possibbli. Finalment, is-servizz kif inhu mqassam. Prattikament fis-servizz qegħdin 3 persuni, hemm jien kif spjegajt fil-bidu l-counselor tas-servizz, kif ukoll għandna żewġ guidance teachers, għandna lil Elena u lil Delton, li prattikament bejnietna naraw daqsxejn każijiet x'ikunu sitwazzjonijiet x'ikunu min jista' jissapportja l-aħjar. Mistoqsija li nirċievu spiss tkun kif nista' nuża s-servizz jiena. Hemm ħafna modi, l-iktar wieħed sempliċi u ħafif huwa li inti tiġi l-uffiċċju, tibgħatilna email u tgħidilna isma' għandi bżonn session, għandi bżonn niltaqa' ma' xi ħadd biex niddiskuti xi ħaġa. U aħna hemmhekk nagħmlu kuntatt u fil-ħinijiet li jkollok inti m'għandek lezzjoni fil-free lessons b'xi mod nagħmlu dak il-kuntatt u nsibu ħin għas-session. Però modi oħra wkoll. Dak li llum ir-referrals, ġifieri xi ħadd jgħidilna li xi ħadd għandu bżonn għajnuna, jistgħu jsiru minnkom stess kif ġarnija, però anke minn għalliema oħra, minn assistant head u head of school, minn ġenituri u anke minn sħabkom stess. Se jkun li inti tinnot ħabib jew ħabba tiegħek li għaddej minn diffikultà jew minn problema u tkun inti li flimkien miegħu jew magħha tiddeċidu li tiġu flimkien. U forsi l-ewwel session għal support tkun hemmhekk għall-persuna l-oħra wkoll, ħalli nevitaw li jkun hemm ansjetà żejna. Imma l-iskop qed tinduna huwa li kemm jista' jkun nilħqu l-iktar nies possibbli. Finalment nibda kif nispiċċa kif bdejt, alright? L-iskop tas-servizz tagħna huwa li jiffaċilita it-transition tagħkom u jgħinkom ittejbu l-kwalità tal-ħajja fil-ħajja tagħkom. Kultant affarijiet li jidhru kbar ħafna likom fil-bidu tas-sena, għalina jkunu affarijiet li nistgħu ngħinukom mod sempliċi ħafna. Allura dejjem ngħid dejjem nirrepeti, tiddejqux, titolbu. L-ar każ li jista' jiġi ewwel ngħidulkom ma nistgħux ngħinukom, u f'dak il-każ nippruvaw nirreferukom għal xi ħadd li jista' jgħinkom, jekk ma tkunx ħaġa li qiegħda f'idejna. Dak huwa l-ar każ. Imma l-aħjar każ huwa li fil-verità ngħinukom ittejbu is-sitwazzjoni u fil-waqt li titgħallmu tieħdu l-massimu mill-ħajja akademika fl-iskola tagħna, anke tieħdu gost, tieħdu pjaċir u tgawdu l-edukazzjoni post-sekondarja tagħkom. Jiena minn naħa tiegħi m'għandix xejn inżid iktar ma' dan, nawguralkom sajf sabiħ u li narakom f'Settembru, maġġoranza tagħkom forsi narakom f'Settembru biex naħdmu flimkien għas-sentejn li ġejjin. Grazzi u narakom. Hi, this is Ryan Portelli. I am the school counselor of higher secondary in Ashar. And I'd like to share with you a bit what we are offering as a school and how we intend to work with adolescents when it comes to their well-being. So practically our office is normally referred to as the Wellbeing and Counselling Office, and we provide a number of services through that office in order to help and support in the best way possible our students. Let's start, I think, with the basic thing. What is counseling? Most of you will be familiar with what counseling is. And practically, counseling can be summed up in this therapeutic relationship between a person, a trained counselor, and an adolescent, in our case, an individual, so that we build this therapeutic alliance where we start working on some kind of difficulties or some kind of issues that the person might be passing through and would want to actually try to iron out, try to understand better, try to feel better about them, or even try to go out of that particular negative state. So we normally work in this direction. There are three important core beliefs we have in the office and within the counseling team. The first one is that of confidentiality. So when we speak about counseling, we're speaking about a relationship between the counselor and the person and the individual coming for counseling that is fully confidential. That means nothing that is said between the two will ever go out unless two conditions are broken. That is, unless the content of that session, what is being said between the counselor and the client and the student at that point, is of harm to the student's life or of harm to any other person in the student's life. Okay, so I think these are the two conditions we give to confidentiality. So yes, it is confidential, but at the same time, it is confidential with these two provisos. It's confidential unless you are harming yourself or harming someone else around you in your life. Another important thing we believe in when we speak about counseling is that of being non-judgmental. As a profession, as an office at school, we try to enhance the idea of not judging any type of behavior, difficulty, thoughts that a person might have. It's not important if we feel that is wrong or that is good. That's not important. What we need to know is how you are feeling and what you intend of doing with that. And that's why being non-judgmental, whatever the walks of life, whatever the current situation you are experiencing or passing through, that is something we really believe in. The third idea is that of creating a safe space, and we would like to see our office as being the safe space. That is, if a person is currently feeling overwhelmed, you just need to have a break, you just need to stay quiet for a while until you relax a bit and maybe your anxiety goes away. All this going on, we'd like to see our office as a safe place. You can come there, you can try and ease out that tension, recollect yourself. Maybe you just want to discuss about anything that comes up to mind. We just want to see it that way. We want you to see our offices in that way. Now, some of you might ask, but why counseling? As in, why should I even consider counseling? Well, we know that this transition from secondary to post-secondary, although it's a welcome transition for most of you, so you would be excited to actually move on to post-secondary, but any change in life creates an amount of stress and an amount of anxiety. Now, sometimes it's stress and anxiety you can deal with and it stops there and you just move on and everything is fine. In other cases, it might be a bit more than that and you would need support into actually easing in the new reality. And for that reason, we are there. We are there to support this transition. We are there to help you actually be more comfortable in this new environment you'll be in. But it's not the only reason why counseling might be actually needed by students attending a post-secondary school. We know, for example, that as happened before and will happen even after post-secondary, sometimes relationships can be an issue. So you might have romantic relationships, friendships, relationships with your parents that are not working in the right way. Something is not on, something is not functioning. Well, what we can do in the Wellbeing and Counselling Office is actually that. We can sit with you and actually try to walk the walk with you and understand where all this is coming from. And maybe try to amend behaviors and try to see how we can change a bit ourselves to actually fit better the situation we're living in. One also must not take for granted the fact that in certain realities, mental health issues, mental health related difficulties come out at the age of 16 to 18, 20. So it's the age of the post-secondary schooling. And we are very conscious about that. And in fact, we try to keep in mind that something might be happening within you that you would need more support in. Apart from that, other issues that we encounter and we support students with are also issues related to gender and sexuality. So we have students that would be exploring the gender, exploring their sexual orientation, even maybe coming out and how to come out and who to tell and whether they need support to speak for to parents, for example, or to friends. So that's another service that we would be working with you and helping you to do it in the best way possible, where the least difficulties are experienced while you're doing that. Obviously, we mentioned relationship. We also deal with relationships that might be maybe a bit, I use the term abusive relationships, or that there are power issues in the relationships, or sometimes even violence. So it's either gender-based violence or domestic violence. These are things that we might see, that you might be experiencing, and we are there for that as well. As well for anything else in your life that will lead you to actually feel overwhelmed by what's happening. So one clear message we always try to convey to our students is that we're there. You ask. If it's something we can help you with, we will help you with. Worst case, if it's something we can't help you with, we'll help you find the help you need. So there's nothing to lose. It's actually everything to gain by just speaking up, by just coming to the office and actually discussing your needs, your requirements. Obviously, we also believe in something else, and that is what we call the Parent-School Alliance. We believe that adolescents are still in a very connected relationship with their families. They're still living at home. So there's kind of this situation where, okay, they're gaining their independence, but sometimes parents might be noting some things that are worrying to them. We encourage that. Be in contact with us. It's not a problem. The one thing we try not to do is to actually not be transparent. So we believe that we be as transparent as possible with our students. That means we don't really find it helpful to get situations where we're told not to tell the student that the parent contacted us. Because at the end of the day, that would create even more tension in this relationship. And if at some point the student would know that the parent contacted us, they would even lose the trust that would have been built between the counselor or the guidance teacher with the student. Because obviously the base of it all was something that was not true. Okay, so if parents actually contacted us, we would help you as parents to start a dialogue with your kids and tell them, listen, I have contacted the school because this, and this, and they can help you. We just want you to go for it, okay? Which is the first step for you to find it simpler to actually go for it. Now, as a service, it's made up of 3 people mainly. So it's me as a counselor and another 2 guidance teachers for next year, which will be Elena and Elton. And practically we start off by meeting the student and see what the needs are, and according to the needs, the student would be attached to one of the people in this office to start sessions. Sessions are normally around 45 to 1 hour, so it's like a time slot for a lesson, and they're normally scheduled in 3 lessons that you would have. So lessons where you are not in a lesson as much as possible, so that we start using the free slots not to disturb your learning experience in school as well. Something that people ask is, how can I avail myself of the service? There are many ways. One of the most obvious probably is that of you coming at the office or you sending an email to one of us and saying, listen, I need some help in certain areas, please can you give me an appointment? And that's what we call a self-referral when you come to us. On the other hand, referrals can be made by practically everyone. So a teacher can make a referral, an assistant head or a head of school can make a referral, a parent can make a referral. Sometimes it's even friends that are worried about a peer and they would come with them for the first session maybe because there's some kind of anxiety. So even that is possible. Okay, so we try to keep the referral system as open as possible to reach as much as people we can and support this transition to post-secondary school. I will close as I started. Transitioning to a post-secondary school might seem, and it is, something very exciting. Nonetheless, it's something that requires a change, and anything that requires a change creates some kind of anxiety and stress within us that sometimes is manageable, sometimes it's a bit less manageable. So please, anything that is happening in your life throughout the time that you'll be in our school, do not hesitate to contact us before it escalates, because sometimes it will be something quite simple to deal with if we actually started at the beginning, but it gets a bit more complicated once we allow it to grow and maybe you start feeling that that particular situation was a bit out of hand. So we're looking forward to actually see you, meet you, connect with you, and I'll just thank you from beforehand for all of those of you that have trusted and will trust our team to actually help you in what are real personal things in your lives. And we feel very, very, very humbled that you would actually be, we're humbled and honored that you choose to share them with us in order to support you. Have a good continuation of summer and hope to see as many as possible of you in September. Thank you.